guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone. If you are seeing my beautiful face for the first time, welcome to my channel and have a seat to watch this video because today I brought something reasonable for you guys to enjoy. And if you are part of my returning subscribers, I say thank you for coming back to my channel to watch my videos. So this channel is about nursing, is about OSCE, is about relationship and lifestyle generally. So today I want to talk about how to pass assessments and planning station in OSCE successfully at one sitting without going back to redo any assessments or planning station. So sit back and enjoy all the tips I'm bringing to your table this morning. So this morning, this is what the assessment chart looks like. I hope you can see it very well. So the assessment is 20 minutes. You are expected to use 20 minutes for the station. So in that 20 minutes, you can either use a mannequin or an actor. It depends on your exam center. So it's either you use a mannequin or you use an actor, which is a normal human being that will represent a patient. So if you are using a mannequin, I use a mannequin, and all the things I shouted here, the examiner gave it to me. So there's no need for you to whack your head or trying to do anything. But ensure you do all the necessary things you need to do, even on a normal patient, to the mannequin. So today for the assessment, like I said earlier, it's 20 minutes, and it involves you assessing a patient from using the ABCDE approach. The A stands for airway, the B stands for breathing, the C stands for circulation, while the D is disability, and E is exposure. So all of it has different things under them. Like this airway is you checking the airway of the patient, maybe it is patent, and if it's a mannequin, we just say the way you have been speaking to me, I can assess your airway is clear, so there's no obstruction. That means the airway of the patient is clear. Then for breathing, is you assessing the SpO2 of the patient, the oxygen saturation level, if it is within the normal oxygen saturation level, which is 94 to 98 to 100, anyone you can think about. Then you're checking the respiration of the patient as well, because it's still under breathing. Then for circulation is you checking the blood pressure and the pulse. So the disability is maybe the patient is alert, the ACVPU. Then the exposure is you knowing the past medical history of the patient. Maybe the patient, then you will check the temperature of the patient as well. So you can be given any probes, you can be given anything placed by the patient bedside. So ensure you note those things when you enter. So let us be realistic here. As you enter the station for your assessment, because that will be the first session you are going to do in your exam, the examiner will tell you a few things about the station. Then note all the things the examiner is telling you at that moment. Then make sure you remember all of them. But the main things you should do is, as you enter the exam room, check your areas. Maybe there are any probes around. It might be cigarettes, it might be water, it might be what else, it might be food, it might be chocolate, anything. It might be walking aid, it might be glasses. So as you enter, you check for the safety of the room. Maybe there's no wire on the floor, there are no water on the floor that can cause any harm or any injury. Then after that, then you wear your PPE, then you provide privacy for the patient, then you come and meet the patient, introduce yourself, you gain consent, then you do the 2 ways identity check by checking the wristband of the patient, then using your scenario book to know the name of the patient and the allergies as well. And then ensure you read your scenarios very, very well before you start. Some things might be in the scenario that they wanted you to do for the patient, but if you didn't read it very well, there's no way you'll be able to do all the things they expect you to do in the assessment station. So in my own OSCE hub, there are 2 ways for you to do this assessment. Firstly, you can do the assessment like you doing all the observations, your blood pressure, your pulse, your temperature, your feeling of warmth of the patient, checking the nail bed, checking the refill time of the patient's blood coming back to the hand. Like all those observations, you can do it together at once. Then after that, you come and chat using this. Then make sure you write the name of the patient, then ensure you put the date, the time, just in this small column. Don't write it extensively, more than this small column. Then you put the date of admission. That is the exam date that you are doing your exam, so ensure you put that. Then for your respiration, for your SpO2, for your, maybe the patient is on air or oxygen. Then for the blood pressure, you chart it. Then for your pulse, you write it. Then for your maybe the disability, maybe the patient is alert, you can know if the patient is oriented to time, place, and person. That's for you to assess the patient. Maybe the patient is alert or confused. Then if the patient is not alert, you can ask for the blood sugar level of the patient, or if the patient is not a diabetic patient, you can just verbalize it that, examiner, I need to check the blood sugar level of the patient because I can see the patient is not oriented to time, place, and person. Just verbalize it like that. Then you check the temperature, then you chart it here. Then the news total score. So under this news total score, there was something I learned when I wanted to do this OSCE. If you are able to have a news score of 0, don't follow this thing that they wrote at the back, that every news score of 0 every 12 hourly. No, 12 hourly is too long for an exam condition. So just write, it's either you pick 6 hourly or you pick 4 hourly, but don't make that mistake of you putting 4 to 6 hourly. No, you need to pick one. It's either you pick 4 or you pick 6, and then you just write the 4 hourly in this small box. Then the escalation of care, maybe the patient has more than 3 in the new score, or in one parameter that is 3, maybe in this, in this respiration, maybe the patient has more than 25. That means the patient will have a new score of 3. So in case there is any new score of 3 in each parameters, that means you need to, the frequency will be more than you checking for the one of 0, which is 4 to 6 hourly. Then if it is 3, it will be, let me check, if it is 3, then it will be 1 hourly. Then if it is 4, that's 30 every 30 minutes. Then if it is 5, that means it is more than 4, 5 or more, then that's a continuous monitoring. So ensure you master that. I will, in case you need any of these things, I'll put down my number under the comment section so that I can forward all the pictures and the documents I use in practicing for this OSCE to you guys. Then after doing this and you writing the frequency and everything, then you can now come back to the patient and now follow the A to E assessment criteria by you telling the patient, okay, earlier I checked your airway, it was clear. Instead, or you can do it in another dimension of you following it step by step. That means as you are doing the airway, you are telling the patient your airway is clear, and then you move to breathing. Then as you do the breathing, you tell the patient the pulse, the respiration, and as well the SpO2. Then after the breathing, you move to see the circulation. Then you tell the patient about the blood pressure, like those things. Or unless you don't want to do it systematically, you can as well doing it by you doing the observations first, then you going back to narrate everything you see to the patient step by step. Me, I followed that because it is easier for me. I did the observations at once, then came back to the patient bedside to do the interpretation of all the things I've done by following the A to E assessment approach. So I think that one is not wasting time, and you'll be able to cover much by you being able to chat during, because there's still time available. You'll be able to pen it down, then still be able to come back to the patient and tell the patient everything you've been able to do in regards to the patient's health at that moment. Okay, assessment 2, you can be given a GCS patient. So GCS patients can be as a result of fall or head injury. So is that the other two? Then this is how the GCS form looks like. I don't know, maybe you can see it very well. So, and this GCS score, you put down the patient name, the date and everything. Then the coma scale, maybe the patient is reactive to high opening. Maybe when you went to the patient bedside, the patient opened his or her eyes in you entry the patient room. Then the verbal response, maybe the patient is oriented or confused. Then best motor response, obeying commands. Maybe you ask the patient, can you bring out your tongue? The patient did that. Can you stretch out your hands for me? The patient was able to do all those things. That means the patient is obeying commands. Then there are also areas for you to pen down your observations. There is blood pressure, there is pulse, there is temperature, there is SpO2, and what else? Yeah. Then under GCS, you will do the pupil reactiveness. Maybe it is reactive to light. Then you put down the size. Most times it's always 3+. Then you check for the arms and limbs movement. That's you asking the patient to stretch out his or her hands. Then you applying pressure on the arm and telling the patient to resist your pressure. So it depends on what you were able to weigh while you were doing that for the patient. Then you put maybe the hands, maybe the right one or the left is both having normal power, or there's weakness or anything, then you put it down. Then for the legs as well, you ask the patient to bring out the legs and you try applying pressure. Then if it is both that is reactive to normal power, then you put half well. So then you put the total GCS score. So as I said, for the one of new score, there's also the one of GCS, whereby if it is 14 and below, this one is as is moving down. That's when the patient's case is so deteriorating. So like 14 and below is every 30 minutes, which is in case of head injury and fall. So for the first few hours, they will do it for 30 minutes, then later every 15 minutes, because the patient is confused, the patient is not oriented. Then for GCS of 15, that's every 1 hour. So I hope you note all the things I've been able to differentiate between the one of GCS and the one of news. So note that under GCS, they are still going to do news, like not really use scoring it news here, but you will do all the observations that are involved. Then you will still do the one of Glasgow coma scale, as well as pupil reaction and the lip movement. And then when you are done, you can as well do it like the one I explained you, doing of the observation, then coming back to chat and going back to meet the patient and report everything you'll be able to do, or you doing it step by step as well. So you might be given any additional activity of daily living, something related to this. This is a question that where I trained for my OSCE. So this patient has, I think, is chronic heart failure. So these are the patient's case scenario. Then these are the activity of daily living. There's one of breathing, there's one of death and dying, there's one of maintaining a safe environment. So if you see that in exam, ensure you pick that two of it, then discuss it with the patient. In my own case, I didn't have any activity of daily living, so it was just easy. Okay, I think those are the things you need to note under assessment. Ensure you do all the observations fully. Under you checking for your respiration and pulse, please, I beg you, make sure it is up to that 2 minutes that you expected to use. By you putting your hands on the radial pulse, ensure it is up to 1 minute for the pulse and 1 minute for you counting for the patient's respiration. And if you want to start, you can verbalize it for the examiner. I'm starting to check for the pulse now, and my time starts now, because the examiner might be helping you to check the time, and if it is not up to the 1 minute for this and the 1 minute for this respiration, it might cause a failure. So ensure you spend up to 2, even if it's a mannequin, shall stand here, ensure you are doing it. Me, I use a mannequin, so I put my finger there, even though I'm not feeling anything. But in some stations, in some centers, the areas where the mannequin will be reactive, so ensure you check that very well. And if it's not reactive, just ensure this thing is mannequin. So just stand there and make sure it is up to 2 minutes for you checking for both the pulse and the respiration. And wear your PPE, wear gloves, wear apron, check identity of the patient, introduce yourself, check safety, ensure you note the props around, and like relate with the patient very well. Are you comfortable? Are you all right? Is there any okay? All those things. Give call bell. Those are the necessary things you need to do under assessment. Then now we are moving to planning. This is how the planning questions do look like. This one, in this case, is a cardiac arrest because the patient is having shortness of breath and exertion, chest pain, and swollen legs. So in the case of planning, this is how it will look like. Sorry for paying because I've used this earlier, but I want to show you guys how it do look like in exam situation. You'll be given something with 2, 1 like this, 1, 2, then there's an extra space for you, which is the third one. In case you make any mistake in either of the 2 spaces that are in front, then they still give you a chance to use the last one that is at the back for you to rectify your mistakes and write a good care plan. So in this care plan, I use a document then to prepare for it, because here I trained from this Nigeria, the way we do it, our own care plan is different. And in this UK, the own care plan is just simple and straight, no headache, nothing. And don't complicate things for yourself. Don't complicate things for yourself. So the main things I want you to know under your care plan is you being able to know the case scenario of your patient. Then sometimes they will write the symptoms the patient is bringing in, like the one of this cardiac arrest. Now they wrote shortness of breath and chest pain with swollen legs. So sometimes they write the symptoms the patient is showing in your planning question. So ensure you read that very well and write something related to those symptoms that are being written in your scenario. Also, if you want to write, in case you have a patient going for a surgery like mine, I did ectopic pregnancy on my own OSCE exam. Then when the patient went for the hysterectomy to remove the ectopic pregnancy, then the patient came back to the ward. Now it is now post-op planning and not pre-op. Ensure you note that there's a pre and post-op care plan. So in my own case, after it, because it is now post, and all what they wrote here was that the patient is now back to the ward. So check back and that the patient is now having pain, is now having some bleeding at the surgical site, all those things they wrote it there. So all the things I was now writing is now related to risk of infection, risks of bleeding, because the patient is just returning back to the ward, and they didn't write it in a way that is as if the patient has been in the ward for the past 2 weeks and what the patient is now coming out with. So ensure you are able to differentiate that. Maybe it is pre-op or post-op. Okay, so those are the main things you need to know under See, they do write time here. Assume it is today and it is 11 o'clock. So anything you want to write your time properly. And they wrote it here that base your nursing assessment and produce a nursing care plan for 2 relevant aspects of nursing care, which is suitable for the next 24 hours. So let me open it for you guys. The patient's name is here, the nursing problem, maybe what the patient is facing, maybe the patient is experiencing pain as a result of the surgery or as a result of the cardiac heart failure. So ensure you note that the name of care is to relieve the patient of the pain. Then the evaluation days, it is the date you are doing your exam. Then maybe it is you want to be checking the pain level every hourly or every 30 minutes. So just ensure you write all the time you want to be using to check for the evaluation date. And if you want to write the care here, put an hyphen in front to highlight your point. Then make sure I will do those so I will gain consent from the patient, and remember I will all these things that you want to do. So in case of pain now, for example, right, I will explain the care and gain consent for my patient. Let's assume our patient's name is Sandra. I will gain consent and explain the care plan of care to Sandra. Then second one, ensure you write all the non-pharmacological care plan before you move to any medication, before involving any medical attention. Or non-pharmacological things, you should do those ones first. Then in regards to pain, you will know that you will position the patient so that the patient can be comfortable. Then after then you can improve this breathing exercise. You can involve it in the patient's care so that the patient can do that to relieve the chest pain. Then ensure you refer. Yes, you can also refer to a cardiologist because it is something related to the chest and the patient is a cardiac patient. Then you can now write about it. You will give prescribed medication, you will do all those sorts of things. Now I remember, before you even start anything for your care plan sorry for disturbing you guys, before you even write anything for your care plan, please write your name first in capital letter, put your signature and date. Then after writing that, you can now start your care plan, because if you did not put down your name here and your dates and your signature, is a failure. Even if you write a very good care plan and time now run out, they now collected your note from you. So what's the essence of you writing a good care plan without putting your name? So I always say it to all the people around me that ensure you write your name and your signature and your date before you even start the care plan. Please write your name first, then you now start. So guys, I think I've been able to enlighten you more about the assessment and the planning station. So if you are writing very soon, I wish you success in your exam. OSCE is doable. OSCE is something you can do at once without any failure. So believe in yourself that you can do it, and I promise you it is success already. So I wish you guys success. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and in the next video I think I'll be talking about the implementation and evaluation station. So don't forget to subscribe and to share this video. I love you guys. Bye bye.